Okay. So, all right. All right. What's up, y'all? Welcome back. This is the 1432 podcast. I'm Josh Gilliam,
I'm Mike Elliott.
and we have our guest with us today. His name is.
What's going on, y'all? My name is Jason. Longtime friend to Josh, frat brother to Mike. Um, yeah, man, it's a pleasure for me to be here. Super happy to be with my brothers today to talk about the important topic that we getting ready to get into. Man, bro, it's been some years though, right, bro?
It's been a minute, bro. I think we met. It's funny because I always tell this story, but how I met Jason. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna let you tell it because you wasn't even in town when they start talking about, when they start talking about you to me. Like you wasn't even here. So
I mean,
you
but
tell the story.
the same time, I feel like it's the same story, just from different perspectives, obviously. But I went back to college. I was at UMKC. This was like 2012, 2011, 2012. Around that time, I'd actually just pledged and crossed into Phi Beta Sigma, surprisingly. But no, everybody kept hitting my line like, "Hey, man, you here? You in town?" I'm like, "What?" Nah, I'm at school. They was like, "Nah, bro, your twin is literally walking around abundant life." And I was just like, "Okay." I'm thinking they just being funny. And so they keep telling me about this new dude that's coming around, that's hanging around, like the little group that we were a part of that we built up. Current young adults. Shout out to all the current family. But they kept telling me it was this guy that's in St. Louis, that's at the church that kind of reminds them of me. And and so I didn't really pay no attention. I was up in Kansas City living my best life, but I think it was the first trip home when school was over. I was back home for the summer. I went to church, and the first person that walked up to me after church was Josh. Like, you must be Jason, right? And I was just like, yeah, you you got to be Josh, obviously. Like, yeah, man. And so from then, it was literally that's just how we met. We dapped up. I think, man, you was at my house probably the next week. I don't know, man. I felt like that summer was crazy because we were just together like every day. Whether it was me, you, Jamar, really it was like us three for a while, just like pulling up everywhere, man. I was new at UMSU at the time, and I ain't really know a lot of people. And man, y'all would pull up with me um, for anything, man. And then that's when the brotherhood kind of started, man, instantly.
Yeah, yeah, and it's very interesting because I will say this because other people always ask you like, um, Jason was my road dog. Like we always go skating. Um, he actually the one that put me on the Greek life. Super long ago. And it started with going to the Kappa parties. I would just pull up with him and some Zetas, and and we'll just be there to kicking it, right? And so
No
so
comment there. No
Hey,
comment.
shout out to the sorors,
shout out to the Soros.
and the frat. You know what I'm saying? Zeta Phi Beta
Absolutely.
Sigma, we in the building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so it's actually just funny because he is one of the reasons why I'm a Sigma to this day. Um, so yeah, but yeah, no, we've been knowing each other. So is it almost 14 years? No, it's probably like 12 or 11.
Hey man, I'm gonna let you do the math. We just been in this thing for a minute, bro. Like best man in each other's. I mean, like groomsmen of each other's wedding.
Yep.
Just doing life, man. It's been a blessing to be honest. And I'm like I said, I'm just honored, man, to just be here with y'all, support what y'all got going on. I'm a big fan.
Mhm,
Not just the topic, but you all as men first,
mhm.
and then the podcast. Um, I think this space is something that's missing amongst men, black men in particular. So I'm just super excited to be a part of this and just be able to support y'all however I can.
Hey, appreciate that, bro. Glad to have you on, man. Ever since I heard about you, it's like, yeah, my partner Jason. I was like, Jason, oh, okay, cool. And like I said, we know St. Louis is small, so we saying how we damn near family. Me and Josh damn near family, so we all related at this point, right? But
Yeah,
yeah,
man. And I feel like Mike, like I feel like I just seen you around like with blue and
For
white
sure.
for a minute. You know what I'm saying? But you know how it is. Like when you meet bros from all over, it's just like, oh, what's up, man? It's love. But
Yep.
you know, we never really had the opportunity to sit down and chop it up until recent. You know what I mean? But and again, like yeah, we family. Like my wife is like
Hmm.
your cousin, man. So it's like, hey,
Yep.
it's family for real.
Yes,
So
sir.
I
Yes,
love that.
sir. But again, man,
Yeah,
we
so
appreciate you coming on and supporting us. And go ahead, let Josh take it over.
yeah, absolutely. And so one last thing before we start, Jason, can you shout out any podcast you got going, any other future plans? I know that you do a lot, but just talk about that for like 2 minutes and then we gonna start.
Yeah, man. I'm working on a podcast right now. I ain't really put out no names and titles yet. But it is coming. Anybody that knows me knows that like I am a hip hop head. You know, I got my degree at the lunch tables in high school. You had to come with it every day. You know, we sitting at the lunch table debating. I came up during the era, man, where you know you had Lil Wayne, Jay-Z, Nas, Ludacris, Nelly. The only dudes moving units is M, Pimp Juice, and us. It's the Rock. Never mind. Um, but I came up in that era. But you know, I'm still young enough. I'm a elder millennial, you know what I mean? So I'm still tapped into what's going on. For my occupation, I'm an assistant director in the Thrive Center for Student Success here out here at Loyola University. So I'm tapped in with students every day, all day. That's really what I do, and they keep me fresh. And so I got this new idea to. I don't even know if it's really a new idea. I feel like everybody got a music podcast right now, but at the same time, it's just like I just want to do something for fun. You know what I mean? As we talk about mental health coming up, like I think it's just something to have something of your own that you're able to curate, that you're able to be creative, that you're able to put your most authentic self out there. Because somebody will listen. If no don't nobody else listen, my wife and my mama will listen. Um, so I'm just about to do it, and I got an episode in mind already that I would love to do like a collaboration episode with y'all, but more to come. But yeah, that's me.
All right. All right. Well, thank you so much, brother. We definitely, you know what I'm saying, we definitely will be in the building for that for whatever episode we in. We definitely will be there because you know I'm a hip hop head, love hip hop, been there since the '90s, been loving that. So yeah, I'm
That
excited.
that's debatable, bro. Because I don't know. Okay. That's next subject.
We ain't gotta talk about my favorite rapper right now. We ain't gotta talk about that. We ain't gotta talk about that. So look, let's do an emotion check in, man. Let's I can start it off. I can start off, or who? So, typically in this check-in, what I want to do is just three emotions that you feel, and if you can change one, what do you feel like you need to do to change it? If not, just sit with it, and we're gonna keep moving. So for me, right now, I feel excited. I feel it's very interesting. Like I said, it's nervous, but also like confident at the same time. And so for me, one of the things I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make sure I'm staying grounded at all points. I'm gonna make sure that I slow down when I need to, and I'm here to hang out. I'm with my niggas. Can't say that too much, but with y'all. So we're in a good space. So
Boop. We'll beat that.
boop, yep, absolutely. All right, Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, man. So I'm feeling optimistic, confident, and powerful. I say that because of all the things that we got going on right now and how everything's coming together. And so I'm very good at figuring things out, not just in the last minute, but when I'm deeply into it. And so with us starting a podcast, the men's group, being invited to these different events, hosting things, and just helping out the community, man, I've been feeling like this is where I'm supposed to be, and I'm confident in what I'm doing. I'm feeling powerful in the moves that we making and optimistic that knowing that this is growing, right? I do tend to live in the moment right now and not try to get too high, too low. And I think that's what keeps me going because if I feel like I get too high, too low, my emotions be all over the place and I either hit a wall, I'll feel stuck. So if I just keep it even keel, uh, it's going it's gonna work out, and I know that we doing something that's bigger than us at this moment. And then we're bringing in people like I got Jason on her now. We're bringing in people that we know can benefit from this and spread their word as well. So that's how I'm feeling.
Let's see. So Mike, you kind of alluded to it. It's a lot of stuff going on around the world, not just here in the U.S., but internationally. It's a heavy time for a lot of us. Um, so I chose three words that are kind of opposite from that. So I'm feeling excited, definitely super excited to be here right now with y'all and on this platform, prepared to share our stories and just, create a space for other men or anybody else that's listening. I'm super proud. You know what I mean? I remember hearing Josh kind of talk about this idea a while ago of just wanting to do a podcast and trying to figure things out. And to be able to look at the screen and see, y'all got a logo. Like what? Like this is real. You know what I mean? So I'm super proud. But lastly, I'm tired, man. It was a long work week. And then the thing that I've learned, from being a new father is that you really don't get too many breaks. Um, I mean, you can take a break here and there, but it's like if I feel like I'm constantly working, right? I work a 9 to 5, get off at 5 o'clock, and then I'm on daddy duty because I'll pick baby girl up from daycare. As soon as she gets to the house, it's active, So I'm a little tired, and how I guess I can combat that is just really try to be better at managing my time. I think that, instead of, scrolling on my phone or watching YouTube videos and Netflix binge and stuff for hours, maybe I should try to get some sleep in there. You know what I mean? Um, but I feel like, I need that time to do me, but part of doing you is taking care of yourself and getting sleep. So I'm gonna be working on that for 2026.
That's good. That's good. That's good, bro. Um, I think one of the, I think your conversation about being a new father that's gonna lead into this. So just in case we did not make this evident before, this is the fatherhood episode, right? And the reason why, um, the reason why this episode is so important because me personally, I don't think I've seen too many episodes that directly talk about what it means to be a new father, what it means to be a involved father, and just the emotional roller coaster that goes through with it. Right. I don't think I've seen too many conversations about that, and so I think that is super important. And I mean, obviously, we think this here at 1432. We think that this is a super important conversation because maybe the words that we say on here, people might find very much so relatable, and they may be able to work through it, right? And so since we're kicking that off now, I want to ask both of y'all, how did it feel when you first found out your wife was pregnant?
Yeah, man, I'll go ahead. So I remember that day vividly. Um, I think, some schedules had missed aligned. It was a couple like it was off. No, real talk, like I guess we can just be frank, her period was off. She had missed, I believe. And so we were just encouraged to take tests. So I remember that morning, it was a Saturday morning, she was taking tests. And for some reason, like, they were just coming up blank, blank, blank. And so to the point where I had to go back out, grab some more, and then you know, she had to keep going. So that night I actually had plans. I'm on a kickball team here in Baltimore. And so we were having like a little potluck, little kickback at one of my friends' house. And so, she had tried a few times throughout the morning and afternoon. We didn't see nothing. So I was just like, all right, well, you know, we had agreed, hey, go out, have fun, do you. And then I think she had some plans and things that she was getting ready to do. So I get to my friend's house, maybe like 2 shots in, we having a great time. And then I get a text and like I look at my phone and it's my wife. So I open the text and it's a picture. It's a pregnancy test. So I zoom in and I can't really see. I saw one line, right? But I can't really see the other one. It was real faint. And so I'm sitting there like, okay, I don't even do I see what I think I see, but I wasn't sure. So one of my good friends, Jay, just happened to be like right there next to me. So I was just like, hey, sis, like, hey, look at this real quick. Tell me what you think. She was like, I think you about to be somebody's daddy. I dropped the phone. Bro, I had like a little like a outer but it was like an outer body experience. Like I'm watching myself look at it, but I'm not holding the phone. So and then Erica would text my wife, Erica. She texts me like, hey, no rush. We can talk about it when you get home. Well, party was over. Um, I hopped in the car and I don't think I've ever driven home. I was about 35 minutes from home. I probably made it home in 5 minutes. Now I'm just playing, but seriously, that was the quickest car ride that I've ever had traveling from the distance that I traveled. And I remember just feeling a ton of emotions. Like, I wish I could say I was just so excited. I was excited, but then I think in that moment, the weight of what was to come was kind of hitting me hard in that moment. I started to get nervous. I started to kind of panic a little bit. It was cold, but I was sweating. And then I called my parents. I called my parents, and it was really that 20-minute car ride, just talking to my mom and talking to my dad. And my mom said something that really reassured everything for me. She was like, hey, you know how you grew up? We always had you. She was like, and that we got you now. And it was just hearing that kind of let me know that because I grew up, honestly, I grew up privileged. You know what I mean? My mom and dad worked hard. They had a lot of access, a lot of resources to things. I still have a lot of access and resources. So it kind of clicked in that moment. Like it really does take a village. It will take a village. And my village got me. So that got me to the door. As soon as I got through the door, I did the traditional movie, run in slow motion, you know, ran into my wife's arms, picked her up, hugged her and told her everything was gonna be okay. And yeah, that was it, man.
I appreciate that because I think like, your story, like I think for one, everybody doesn't talk about the roller coaster, right? The excitement and the fear, right? Or like, I even think I heard in there like you talking to your mom about, about how you grew up and things of that nature. Like, I don't think men necessarily speak that part when they talk about what it means to having a kid for their first kid and things of that nature. Obviously, the happiness, you know, from at least the stories that I've heard, like obviously the happiness is the one that stands out the most. And I think, realistically too, um, I think for our partner's case, I think that that's the safest feeling. Like, you better be happy that I'm pregnant. You better be happy that I'm having your first child. Like, all this other stuff doesn't show up. At least I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah, man. I think that's why I was really glad that I had that. Honestly, I had that 20-minute car ride, to kind of process all of those emotions, right? Because also, as a husband, I'm very aware of, how my reactions or lack of reactions can also impact my partner, my spouse. So I definitely want to make sure that I was in the right headspace when I got home. Um, and me and Erica will go on to talk about this later, but I don't think that was the conversation that we need to have first. Hey, babe, I'm pregnant. Oh, oh my God, what? Nah, like she deserved that. Hey, boo, I'm happy. We got it. We gonna make it. I love you. Like all the stuff that they do on movies, right? We really like. I think that was the only appropriate response at that time, and I'm glad that I had that 20 minutes to kind of decompress, to one, honor my own emotions, but two, when I was able to show up, that the emotion that I was able to give my wife was also real too.
So, quick question for you, Jason. With that being said, because like I said, that emotion that you had, right? the out of body experience that you had, other than talking to your parents about it? Did you have anybody else that you could talk to about that experience? Like, yeah, like, man, I'm excited, but on the other side, excitement, like, I'm scared, I'm nervous, I'm, realizing like, oh, this responsibility just got even more real. Like, I was responsible for me and my wife. Now it's we're bringing a child in here in this world together. Did you have that conversation with anybody?
Yeah, man. Actually, so I'm glad that we are here talking about fatherhood. I'm black. If y'all listening to this, yeah, I'm black. So I'm gonna speak on behalf of like black fathers because we often hear about this stereotype that black fathers aren't there, and although I know that's a reality for some, that's not really a present thing in my life. The people that I'm around, um, I got homies that are great fathers, very active fathers. All of my cousins are really active and really supportive of their children. So two people in particular, really kind of stand out is my cousin Daniel. We call him D. Shout out to you, D. I'm gonna make sure you get this episode, man, so you can get your flowers. Um, he has a little girl as well. He was like one of the first people to kind of reach out when I started kind of telling people, and then my brother-in-law John, um, he reached out almost immediately, just sharing his congratulations, but kind of offered me that space to just kind of talk and be real, and kind of process some of that shock, the nervousness, the fear, and just kind of reassured me that everything was gonna be okay.
Yeah, that's dope, man. Because like I said, I think those conversations aren't had enough. We'll get to the part where we excited, and you get the congratulations, and oh, you're gonna be a father, you're gonna have a little mini me and all that stuff. But the other side of it is like, what's next?
Right, right.
What do I need to prepare for? What do I need to, think about, put in place, and all these other things. So yeah, man. Again, you're right. We, as in black fathers, are way more involved now statistically than has been showed in the past. So, congratulations to you. I already know you holding it down over there. And same over here, bro. Same over here. Josh, you want to make a comment before I be long winded?
Nah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
So, I'm gonna have two stories, right? So, unfortunately, the first time we got pregnant, we had a miscarriage. So, and that's something that's not talked about like enough, and not just on the aspect of women just have miscarriages every day, but on the father side. And then again, when you marry, it's a little different, right? You're actively, most of the time, sometimes we're actively trying to have a baby. You feel like this is the next part of life that you two come together to bring life and everything, right? So I think it was like 2017-ish. Yeah, 2017. Um, just remember we was at our spot. I remember I looked at her one day and she was just looking at me like something had happened. I was like, "You good?" She was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Man, something going on," but whatever. So I think eventually later on, we got back to the crib and she told me, she was like, "Yeah, I'm pregnant." Showed me the pregnancy test, so I was excited and she was excited and we was happy and it was like, "Oh man, this is dope." But deep down, me being super self aware, like something wasn't right. Like, I knew that this feeling would come. I never knew what it feel like, what it would be like, or anything. But it was like I was excited in that moment, but deep down it was like, yeah, but I don't feel like this is it. Now, as Jason alluded to earlier, like in that moment, you don't get that, oh well, no, I don't feel this. I'm excited. Like, yeah, we going through this. I can't wait to tell people. So we slowly started to tell people and showing people and everything. It was cool. And then we started to set the doctor's appointment. But deep down, the whole time, I'm still feeling like, man, something just don't seem right. But, again, I think as a husband as well, you have to have a poker face. And we don't talk about that enough neither. How much we mask our emotions based off of everybody else's feelings, and regulate the temperature in the house and the temperature of other people. right? So we go to the doctor's appointment, we still excited. And then, doctor do everything he needed to do. And he said, oh yeah, it's looking like it's not a good pregnancy. So yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and schedule for a DNC. And yeah, we'll, dehumanize the whole situation. And we're both just sitting there stuck. Like, do I hit him? Do I I mean, do I fight him? Like, why would you talking to us like this is just normal? So I'm taken back. She's obviously taken back. All the emotions are everywhere. You know, at this point, he leaves out, she breaking down. I'm trying to console her. I end up leaving out, calling. I think I ended up talking to her mom first and kind of telling her what happened. And it was just crushing, right? Crushing to me as well, not knowing how to feel myself. But it was like, again, I can't really be worried about my feelings right now. I got to focus on her. So I think that's the hardest part of the first time when we found out we got pregnant. And I think I didn't tell her about how I truly felt until maybe like a couple years after our first daughter was born. So, um, but again, I think that's part of the things that we need to have dialogue on more, like how the father's feeling, how we have to protect our feelings for their feelings, making sure they good because that transition period in between when we first had, well, we first found out about the miscarriage, and then the spaces where she did had to have the DNC all the way until we had our first child was rough. You know, it was rough trying to figure out what I could do to save the day, what I could do to make her feel better, what I could do to just make her feel like she's gonna be good no matter what. I'm good no matter what. Like we in this together, and it was hard. But I think again, prayer and just trying to navigate it the best way I could, looking up stuff, researching things like that was how I got through it. And even to the question I asked you, Jason, like I didn't really have anybody talk about it after the fact. It was just I was just dealing with that internally the whole time. So that was that part of it. Now when we actually did get pregnant again, it's weird because I think everything happens for a reason, and I think that we always say pregnancy happens when you're not ready for it to happen, right? So we ended up, I think I ended up getting let go from my job in like the summer of 2018. We got bought out. I was used to work at SkyTrade. They got bought out by TD Ameritrade. They kind of transitioned us out. So I got a severance, and I was like, "Oh, cool." I've been working my whole life at this point. No breaks, no summer breaks, and just grinding. So I was like, I'm gonna take a few months off, start applying to stuff, get a job later on in the year. Everything bills, everything good, take care of, right? Man, I kid you not. The next month, she was like, "Hey, I'm pregnant." I was like, "Damn, I guess I gotta go back to work." So
Yeah.
I gotta go back to work. But again, this time, it felt different. It was exciting. And I was like, man, this is it. We're about to have a kid. But her emotions weren't all the way there because she wanted to be super careful because of what happened the last time. So now it's like, yeah, I'm excited, but I gotta hold some of that back and make sure that my feelings aren't overbearing to her, and she was still comfortable and she still felt good throughout the whole pregnancy. So, yeah, that I mean, it was like careful, like strategically thinking. Okay, when we go to all these doctor's appointments, well, because I went to every last one. We riding together. I'm playing a very specific song. I think it was a Stevie Wonder song. But just saying, like, everything's gonna be all right. We got this. We're gonna roll through this together no matter what. I'm here every step of the way. We gonna raise this baby together. And man, even to the day she got here, I'm right there. Because again, my experience, I didn't grow up with my father in the house or around as much. So a lot of the pivotal things that I felt I would have gotten from watching my father raise me, I didn't get. So for me, it was logical. Like, all right, this is right, this is wrong. You have to be here. Y'all created this baby together. You can't make excuses. But hey, man, she got here, and then COVID happened, and we had another one. So here we are, 2 kids later, like what, 6, almost 7 years being a father, and it's been a true experience.
Wow, bro. Like, man, that's a testimony, man.
Hmm.
Really, man, because um I know that had to be hard for you to endure, that first time around. I just hate that that was your experience, that the doctors, just came through and said it like
Yeah.
that. Like, because, one thing I'm learning about mental health is just that, there's a human aspect to it, right? Like,
Hmm.
you have to give yourself grace. And I felt like, they didn't extend that grace. So I hate that that happened. But I love hearing the full story.
I appreciate it, brother.
And how you dealt with that. Because a lot of times we don't have that space because I think you said something that really struck a chord. You know, I don't think it's anywhere in our contract that we have to save the day, but
Mm,
but every man that's really in it has tried to save the day,
yep.
even when you don't have the tools to, you know. Um, so thank you for sharing that, man.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's bro. I think that that's real though. I think Josh and I talk about that all the time. It's like we don't have to save the day, but it's in our nature as men as problem solvers, right? If there's a problem, like I gotta fix it, whatever it is, because we want that balance. I think for us, it's better for us to not have anything to do than to have something to do. Because when I got something to do, then it's weighing heavy on my mind. I got to get this done. Once I get this done, cool. There's my peace. And when it's not, it's like, all right, I gotta do this. I gotta figure this out. I gotta figure this out. And it's like, all right, I'm just going, 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 going. And I think we get to the point where we get tired and we get overwhelmed and we get frustrated and we taking it out on everybody else and we not getting sleep and we just trying to find that space. I said we staying up late, playing the game, listening to music, talking, watching TV, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So, uh, yeah, bro, we just we gotta learn how to take care of us first.
And that's the one thing I will say that because taking care of us first, right? I think from a mental health perspective is that one thing that I heard from both of y'all is that for one, we are the temperature setters in our relationships with our wives, right? We are the thermostat anyway, right? So, you know, it seems like in both of you guys' case that y'all had to make sure whether hell or high water, I have to come in this space with her. No matter how I feel, I have to come in this space. My mind has to be right. I have to make sure that I'm calm while I'm setting the mood right. Because at the end of the day, this is my wife. This is our child. Like I gotta make sure this is right. Ain't nobody else gonna answer this except me. I am the answer, right? Allen Iverson reference, right? But I am the answer. And so that is one thing that I recognize that has been that's just been super, super apparent to me. And I appreciate it from both of y'all, right? Because realistically, y'all are the leaders. We are the leaders, right? But especially for your children, you are it. The buck stops with y'all. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate, at least from both of y'all stories from the very beginning, that y'all have been very much so like, okay, I'm taking charge. I'm trying to control where I can, right? Because I think we do try to control too much, right? Because realistically, we only can control what we can control, right? But I think for y'all have done, based on the stories that I've heard, y'all have done a fantastic job of trying to at least be there, make sure everything good. Um, and I just appreciate that. So yeah, temperature setters. That's what we should call y'all, the temperature setters. Um, so so one thing that I didn't know if y'all had more y'all wanted to add before I ask the next question. Um, and this
Are
is
you
gonna
good?
be this.
We can go to the next one.
Okay, so this is gonna be a good question for both of y'all, and I'm not gonna say nothing. How did you adjust when your kids got here? And whoever wants to start.
Yeah, let's see. How did I adjust? Um, it's crazy, bro, because I feel like I'm still adjusting. Like I'm still figuring it out. It still feels like yesterday. Um, but I think like the pregnancy really helped, right? Um, my baby came 2 weeks early. So my wife, I think she went 38 weeks. I was hoping for that 40. I don't know what I thought 2 weeks was gonna do for me for real, but like I argued with the doctor, like, nah, you're not inducing her today. No, like we're going home. She's like, nah, y'all not leaving. Um, but nah, so I think I had 38 weeks to really try to like wrap my mind around, you know, what this experience is gonna be like. So one, I was just there with my wife, hand and foot, pretty much every day, all day. Um, after a while, like she wasn't going up and down the steps to get water. I'm picking out, I'll go grab your clothes if I need to. I'm doing all the dishes, I'm doing all the things. And I really just took on that to really just, and I feel like I did some of that, before she got pregnant, but I feel like I took on a lot more subconsciously, kind of doing it to just prepare myself to just be a servant. Cause I realized that, like, my dad used to say this, like, when you have kids, like, they can't do anything without you, right? And it kind of hit me because for all intents and purposes, if something happened to me, my wife could live. She could be fine, right? She can eat, she can go to work, she can do all of these things. Like my baby girl could even like hold her head up for a while, like without me holding her. You know what I'm saying? She can't talk still. She's only 8 months. So it's a lot of me like holding stuff up. You want the bear? You want the pacifier? Like what you want? You got to poop? Like what is it? You know what I mean? So your baby literally can't do anything without you. So you have to be in this mindset that you're prepared to serve because there's never a moment in which like she needs something that I have the luxury or even desire to be like, nah, I'm good. Like you can take care of that. Nah. So I think I had 38 weeks to kind of prep for it. To kind of get my mind around it. I went out double as much, like two times as much throughout the time before she got here, because I knew that once she got here, I wasn't gonna have the luxury just to hop in the car and pull up at a bar and catch a game or do whatever. Um, so when she did get here, um, I don't even know. I felt like all the preparation and all the things, like we got the crib ready, we got the house baby proofed, we got clothes, we set up the room, which I thought was insane. I'm like, why am I setting up a room and she's not even gonna sleep in it? At least for a few months. I lost that argument. I had to put the bed together. I think Josh was on the phone with me one day when I was going off. I was going off, but I be talking again. I forgot that ref. You know what I'm talking about. Um, but real talk, man, I think when she finally got here, everything kind of went out the window at that point. It's almost like nothing else mattered. We was just in the hospital room, the room that they let us stay in. And I really wasn't worried too much about nothing. My wife is good. My wife seems healthy. And I stayed by the baby. Like we didn't even let the doctors and them nurses like take her and cut anything away. They did everything in the room per our request. I wasn't going for none of that, to be honest. And my wife wasn't either. Um, I did everything. I cut every cord. I was over there. I'm like literally over their shoulder. Like that natural protective instinct kicked in. And then it just kind of grew from there, man. Um, I take every day as a new day. But them first few days, I'm sure we'll talk about that though. But them first few days and weeks, man, I wouldn't wish that on nobody, bro. I felt like I was being hazed, man. Um, yo, it was
Hey,
wild.
we are a non-hazing organization.
I'm grown as hell. I ain't got nothing to do with that. Hey, I'm talking about fatherhood, bro. Nigga, I don't know if we can say that on here, bruh.
I'm
Man,
with I'm with you on that. I'm
bruh,
1000%
you
with you
feel
on
me, Mike? Man, look, that first like I say like 3 months especially, because they give you like the little 6 weeks off, which is like maybe like a month and a half. But
Mm-hmm.
that first three was hard because even during those 6 weeks that I was off, how did I prepare, bro? I just didn't sleep. Um, Felt like I wasn't eating regularly. Um, I did a lot of little wash ups, because I felt like I ain't had time to hop in the shower and take a shower how I wanted to. Um, I mean, I'll shower obviously, but for the listeners, like I don't believe in stinking or nothing like that.
Yeah.
Um, but seriously, man, it was just like I don't think you can prepare for it. Like, because putting a baby bed up is cute. Looking at the little outfits, that's so cute. Um, going on dates and drinking a mocktail, will order her a mocktail, you know, that's cute, the little pictures and all of that. But that don't really prepare you for none of that. Like for a baby to sit there and cry and they can't tell you nothing that's wrong and you just gotta figure it out. And the baby crying. Now both of y'all crying because she crying. And or you watching your wife go through it too, because it ain't just a baby. Because pregnant. Hey, I don't know if you watched. Hey, bro, I don't know if you was in there watching,
Talking about it. Talk about it, bro.
bruh. Like, hey, man, if I had a hat, I'd take it off. Mad respect to any woman, let alone our sisters that's out here doing this more than once, bro. That was the most insane, crazy, beautiful, life changing experience I've ever seen in my life. And because everybody be so concerned with the baby, but I'm like right there looking. It was me, my
Yeah.
mama, and her mama in the room, and I'm sitting right there, like glued to the TV. It's like you see a bad accident, you can't look away. It's just like, you know what I mean,
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
bruh. Like I said again, we hear it in the movie. Oh, it's so beautiful, bruh. The experience is beautiful, but it wasn't nothing beautiful about what I saw. And on top of that, now I'm instantly concerned about my wife now because I'm watching all of this happen. Like I watched a 7 pound baby, like 21 inches or something like that, come out of a human. And my wife, bro, after like 20 minutes, she got up when they told us we had to move to a room. She hopped up out the bed and started trying to clean up the room before she left. And I'm like, bro, like, no, sit down. Like her mama was like, you better sit down. And I was right there, like, you better sit down. Like, I know I'm rambling, man.
No, but that's what it's about. I mean, it's about that experience, and and just you going through and reliving it in real time now shows how much, how different it was, and all the emotions that come back to you just thinking about. Like she was cleaning up after she had. It's like, what are you doing? Like you just birthed a child. Sit down. We got it. They got it.
Right.
Chill. So, but yeah, bro, like everything you said, man, it was like that. Like I will say, because I was obviously there for both of mine, and right there, front and center, like almost the doctor's elbow was like hitting my face because I was front and center, just looking and watching it happen.
Yeah.
Um, Ironically, I watched old school movie Mo Better Blues back in the day, and it was a scene of a baby being born, and they actually showed that. So I was kind of prepared for it a little bit. I think what really got me was the placenta when it came out. Yeah, it was like, man, is this alien? Like, this was this look like? Like, this is crazy. What is what? And people eat that. People straight
But
eat that.
they asked if we wanted to keep it. We was like, nah, bro, just go ahead and throw that out. Like,
Yeah, I got it.
hey, nah,
We
y'all,
good.
hey, no disrespect to nobody that do it, but nah, y'all got it. Yeah,
Yeah,
bro, they don't talk about
I'm,
that. They don't talk about that part.
no, none of it.
Man,
Even bro, one thing I did want to mention, like you, because you said it too, cutting the umbilical cord. That moment of separating your baby from the mother and them being a true individual in that moment in real time and knowing that you got to do that. That's crazy. It's crazy, bro.
Oh,
And again, it's like you said, it's the most beautiful experience that you will ever have. It's weird, it's interesting, it's exciting, it's sad, it's all the feelings wheel. It's all of those all in one out of body experience. Um, I'm a transition. Jason, again, thanks for sharing, brother. Because these stories are colorful, right? Because I think we're getting so much out of the dialogue that we having right now, and the experiences. Because mine was, it was different. Because remember, we coming off of, the miscarriage, and everything is just careful, very careful. We going to classes, we being careful. Everything we want to make sure we good. And my whole thing was the whole time I just wanted her to enjoy it. Like I felt in my soul, this is it. I just want you to enjoy it. And for the first one, like when she, like I said, I was recording it, bro. They was like, "You want to sit over here?" Nah, this I help make this. What you talking about? You good, babe? Lift that leg. Hey, talking her through it. Hey, you good? You got this. Breathe. Man, we've been here. You almost there. Hey, her head out. Keep pushing. We good. All of that. And then when she got here, I just stared. I just stared at her. I stared at my wife. I stared at the baby. I said, "You want to cut the umbilical cord?" I went and I cut it. And that, like I said, that was a surreal moment. And I just kept looking. I was like, man, why she ain't got no color? Like the first thing I said, but again, just being naive, right? And then not sleeping, bro. I did not sleep for like a day and a half. Just thinking about it, just being in the hospital. I think she was up at like 2, 3 in the morning. We went to the hospital at like 6. They sent us home. We laying on the kitchen floor together, just trying to comfort her. We went back like all day. But like even past that, right? When we get home, and I never get the slowest car ride ever. She claimed I drive slow already. Man, I drove home so slow. Just wanted to make sure that they was good. I wasn't doing too many bumps on the road. I wasn't hitting no potholes. I ain't even hit the highway. I took the streets. And, to bring her home and look at our baby girl, and she opened her eyes and she looked and she made a face like, "This where we stay at? Like, y'all brought me here?" Like, but again, that whole protection mode, it's like, all right, okay, cool. Like we went through the same thing. It's in the baby beds, moving stuff around. Man, we went to Memphis, and I'm jumping forward. We went to Memphis maybe like 3 months before, to the outlet store, Nike outlet in the hood, to go buy shoes, clothes, everything for her, bro. And I'm buying Jordans that she ain't gonna be able to fit until she was like 3 years old. Like stacked up full of stuff. But now she's definitely past all that now. We passed down her sister. Her sister can't fit him no more now. But just thinking about how excited we was, right? But even when we got home though, you talk about that first 3 months. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. It was rough. Cause we was trying to figure out, I'm trying to figure out my space. Well, what I do, where I fit in, because my wife is a go getter. She's strong willed and she figures stuff out, and she go 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 go. And one of the things I wanted us to do better was work together with taking care of her, both of them. I wanted her to, if she had to pump, or if she's while she pumping, I'm feeding, or she's feeding, she can try to get some sleep, and it didn't quite work out that way. And I think that, I mean, if we be honest, I think that took a big hit on our relationship because we didn't figure that out early on. And and again, I think I know I should have probably pushed harder on setting the standards and working together and saying, "Hey, let's come up with a better plan," than to have her do all this stuff, because we both got to go back to work eventually. And you may be out a little bit longer, but this baby still, like you said, Jason, you wake up, she crying, we don't know if she's hungry, she need to be fed, she need to be changed, if her stomach hurt, if she got colic, all these things. And so, it took a while, but we figured it out. It was ugly. It was ugly, but we knew that the love was there. The love wasn't never going nowhere, you know. Um, but again, like I said, Time went on, we started figuring stuff out. Even for me, like I don't have any younger female cousins or sisters. I'm the oldest of my generation in my family. So everything for me has been might go out and try, might go out and figure out, might go and maneuver, might go manipulate, might whatever. So when it comes to, having girls, it's like it's a totally different ball game. I got a brother who, I pretty much helped raise, and it was easier. We got all the same tools. I've been there. But this one is different. It's different. And then, like I said, as you get older, or as they get older, things will get better, or it'll get a little easier. But that second, I was like, oh no, this is how we doing this. Because I don't know where she came from, but she's not gonna kick our butt every day.
Hey, shout out to Malia, dog. She the OG. She the OG of the family. Shout out to Malia.
Man, because when I say as Malia is something else. But like I said, when we found out she was pregnant with Malia, me and Michaela were asleep in our bed. It had to be like 6 in the morning. And I just remember my wife coming up to me, waking me up, telling me a story. Shout out to our wives. Let's start there, right?
Shout out. Yeah, yeah.
100%.
Yeah. They are all detail oriented and long winded. I'm gonna say that. She's telling, mind you, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. I ain't got my glasses on. I can't hear nothing. I'm just like, what? So she's telling me this long story about she had a dream. At the end of the dream, she said, I'm pregnant. I sat up. I was like, I can't hear you. I ain't got my glasses on. What you say? I looked at her. She was like, I'm pregnant, and showed me the pregnancy. I was like, okay, I guess we have another kid then. I mean, we here now. So
Yeah.
yeah, here we go. So, but with that one, like that pregnancy was obviously a lot better, but we still kind of careful. But I try to make sure, like through this whole process, you're gonna enjoy this one. Like I wanted, I was praying that we had, a boy and a girl, but God bless us with two girls. So there's a reason for that, and I'm thankful for it. And now, when she got here, it was like, hey, this is the schedule. This is how we're gonna work together. You need to go pump. I'll make sure I feed her in the middle of the night. So by the time you come back and you're done, she should be done. I burp her. She go sleep. The other one, she's a little older. She good. She's sleeping through the night. We good. And it worked out. Now, I'll say this and we can move on. Every night I got up while we was doing our routine, burping her, changing her and everything. I looked my wife dead in her eyes without my glasses. And I said, I don't want animal kids.
Yo. I feel you, bro. I ain't even mad at that.
Two is enough. We're thankful. So yeah, Josh, man, you got some stories and you got some adventures ahead of you whenever it's your time to be blessed with these little bundles of joy.
Hey, listen, I will tell you this. I am absorbing this right now. I'm enjoying these stories. I am heeding the 3 month, at least the first 3 months. I am in my mind. I'm like, okay, Josh, we're not gonna be our regular selves in the first 3 months, and it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna
Hey,
send out warnings to both of y'all. Be like, hey, first 3 months, I ain't sleeping. Don't worry about it.
I mean, I ain't want to, I don't want to lie to you, bro. Like, I'm 8 months in and I still don't sleep like I used to. Um,
Mm-hmm.
your life ain't never gonna go back to normal. Like, there's a new normal. You know what I mean? I think I had to like get over the fact of like trying to get back to something, right? That something isn't coming. Um, my daughter is able to sleep a little bit longer throughout the night. Last week, we started, when the doctors asked if she stayed sleeping. Oh yeah, 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 right. Like she was sleeping with us,
Man.
like
Mm-hmm.
or in the bassinet right next to the bed. Like so that bed that I had to put up by a certain date, like she just started sleeping in it like last week. So at week 8, right before week 8, I mean month 8. She just started sleeping in that. But even that's different now, right? Because you used to be able to just like, so she crying, one of us to hear it and start, go to work. Now I got to get up. I got to go to a whole nother room at 3 o'clock in the morning. Or my daughter, she petty already, bro. Like, I think I can say that. Like, she petty already, bro. Like, she know I wake up at 8 o'clock, 6. Oh no, wait. I wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning to get ready for work. She will wait until like 6:30 and go crazy. You know that last 30 minutes of sleep that you
Mm-hmm.
feel like gonna make a difference.
Yep.
Nah, she didn't want me to have none of that. She'd go screaming and then like and just dump we don't know what's going on. She hungry or like, she fighting the mom. She don't never want to latch on. Like, what's going on? Like, I'm just trying to get this last
Yeah.
30 minutes. Bro, it ain't never gonna be the same. Uh you
You ain't
sleep
lying,
is
bro.
yeah, you gotta find time to take naps. uh
And you look, he love taking naps now, so shit, he gonna be missing out on those.
Yeah, like I literally that I use my lunch breaks differently at work, right? I remember days when I used to do lunch with colleagues and friends or make be able to run errands and do things or whatever I need to do. Now, man, I turn my lights off in my office so fast or man, I live 5 minutes away from my office. Sometimes I'll pull up at the crib, take a little 40-minute nap, and then make it back to work on time. Or like literally
That's real, bro.
I get about two 2 hours a day where I'm not working or taking care of the baby or doing something with my wife that I can just have to myself. Even those 2 hours, I remember one time she got sick during my off time and I had to run upstairs, wasn't even caring about like, man, I ain't gonna have my 2 hours. It was just like, man, we going to the hospital, let's go. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
um But then again, although your life won't ever be the same, man, like I don't even care about that no more. Like I really don't care about that as much as I thought I would. Like I don't even miss it as much because me missing it would mean that my daughter wouldn't be here. And honestly,
Mm-hmm.
I'm at the point now, 8 months in, where I can't even think about my life with her not in it no more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's the other part. Like, and as they get older, bro, it's like you legit don't even remember what life was like without them. Like, for the last 7 years, it's been us, the four of us. Well, yeah, 4 or 5, whatever, because we got two. But it's just like she was the oldest, only child for like a year and a half or something like that. And she acts like she was the oldest child, the only child for a while, still. But now it's just the transition of like understanding that this is the new life and you navigate through those spaces of like, okay, well, this is our new norm. And then they start to develop their personalities, and then you start seeing yourself in them or your wife in them, and you be like, dang, you acting just like your mom. It's like, that's definitely my trait. I gotta take the blame for that one. I think the whole mindset and shift of the way we think as parents, um, as they get older is crazy because we're also getting older, right? So we're getting more mature and we start to think about things differently. Our bodies be shutting down. Like I said, I be want to stay up late and play the game, whatever. But it's like, all right, well, if you do that, you're gonna be tired, and you like going to the gym at 5 in the morning. So make it make sense, Mike. But sometimes you got to make them sacrifices, and then you'll still randomly. I'm telling you now, Jay, you'll still randomly 5, 6, 7 years old. You sleep. Doop, 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 doop. Mommy, daddy, you sleep. I was like, you didn't hear me snoring? Yes, I'm asleep. Like, why are you not asleep?
That's
I just
wild.
want look, I just want a hug. And then say stuff like that, and it make you feel bad. And be like, okay, I give you a hug. Let's go back to bed. And then you got to get up, walk them upstairs because it's dark, even though they just ran through the whole house and it's dark. Like it be stuff like that, man. So the fun times are coming, brother. Trust me.
Hey, you know what? One thing that I'm learning is that I felt like part of, me being a really new father was like that excitement to get back to my norm, right? And
Hmm.
so I used to say things like, I can't wait for her to get like 12, 13, or it's gonna be dope when she 18. Then I saw something on Instagram actually. It was like a therapist, and he does these father videos. Um, and he was like, stop looking forward to stuff. Like,
Mm.
and I was like, what? Like, of course I want to look forward to graduations and all our accomplishments and walking. He was like, yeah, but if you constantly looking forward to the next thing, you'll miss out on where she is at this moment. And
Yep.
so right now, bro, like I'm just enjoying her learning how to crawl. Her tooth just popped out through the skin
Mm.
like last week. She's starting to pull up on stuff and try to stand up. Like, and that's where we are right now. You know what I mean? She may say dada every now and then or mama, but she just be talking and making sounds and farting randomly. Like,
Yep. Yep.
and it's only on me. I'm the one that get peed on, pooped on, farted on, thrown up on. But hey, that's my
That's the
job.
love. That's
Hey
the
man,
love.
listen, that just means she love me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean she look like me, man. So it's like, look, bro, I'm just like I'm literally having a time of my life in a moment that where she is right now. But I'm hearing the stories that you telling me is just like, okay, because we had this thought in our minds that, oh, it's just gonna get easier. But I heard that like now the older they get, it's just more,
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
So um so I had to transition and get out of that way of thinking, like just being open to whatever happens. Um my occupation, I'm pretty hard to surprise. Um I work with grown kids, so if I can handle what they got to throw at me, I'm sure, I can handle whatever she got, but
Oh, for
looking forward
sure.
to it.
Oh yeah, man. I think that's the one of the realest things ever is like enjoy the moment. I think this one of the phrases I've been using a lot lately, where it's like we move and the life is moving so fast for us that we not enjoying the space that we in, or the people that's around us, and just the environment, right? I mean, you think about the seasons changing super fast. People graduating, getting older, doing everything. That's why I think us stopping in this moment and having this conversation is so important about being Black fathers, because again, I've never heard Black men talk in this capacity or talk about this stuff ever. Uh, like I said, I got a couple uncles and things like that. I had some coaches that throughout my life, but we've never had a conversation about fatherhood and what that looks like. So to have this now and to be able to create this space with, two of my brothers, this is great. This is amazing, man.
Hey, look, I just want to say this. I am gleaming right now. Like this feels very surreal in this moment. Like just the importance of this podcast. So I just want to say thank y'all both for coming on here and doing all and talking about this. Because again, like you said, Mike, I've never heard any man talk about this and talk about the fullness of all, from birth to, pregnancy, the delivery room to birth to raising them. So yeah, I just want to say thank y'all for doing this. And but yeah, so we're also going to continue because I think the next question is how much do you think your upbringing impacts how you show up as a father or dad?
Yeah, I feel like again, shout out to my pops. Has always been um the best father that I could have ever asked for. I tell him this as much as I get a chance to. I literally told him this over the holiday. Like he literally gave me the blueprint. I feel like, everybody has things that they either really liked about their parents or really didn't like about their parent. And you kind of raise your child either sometime to mirror that or in spite of it. I'm just grateful that I don't have a lot that I think that I would raise my child or try to be the father in spite of my father. Um, my dad is the definition of sacrifice, the definition of, putting his family first, so prioritizing his family. My dad has always been a hard worker. Um, he would give you the shirt off his back. I mean, he just gave me some money the last time I was at home, and I'm 35 years old. You know what I mean? Like, hey, here, son, take this, man. Don't worry about it. Hey, I mean, when the last time you got your brakes checked? Like, constantly checking in, just making sure, like, providing that reassurance. Like, I didn't have to learn who I was from a lot of people. Um, Gratefully, my father taught me that. Um, so when I think about how I want to raise my daughter and the kind of father that I want to be, um, I get a lot of that from him. I can't even say that it's like an instinct because I think I had somebody to look at. So where it may come off as being, something I just do, I'm really just mimicking what was done. You know what I mean? Um, like for instance, like Mike, I think you said it. Like I was at every appointment too. Um, because I wanted to make a practice before she got here. I'm showing up for her before she's even here. Like if I can help it, my daughter will never know her daddy not being her biggest cheerleader. I'm gonna be in the audience. Hell, I might be on the court. Like, I'm that daddy. I'm the one that's gonna be in the stands, like, hey man, you got hey ref, you know what I mean? Um, because that's what my pops was for me. Um, so yeah, I definitely shout out to my father, my mother as well. Um, I think, together they presented a good front. They were a good team. And that's also something that I really work to try to emulate. So even when we disagree, we might have our little moments where me and Erica may have a difference of opinion and might do stuff a little bit different, but we try to get together quick and kind of figure it out and be like, so how can we talk about this? How do we navigate spaces when you think something and I think something and neither one of us know the answer? So we just kind of come up with our own answer. Um, but yeah,
Well, I think I'm glad you said that. I'm glad that you did have the blueprint, and what I'm saying, I think that that's always important, especially because we do emulate what we see, right? Like, I think about like human development, right? Human development, we all literally as a child, like our view of the world is this big, right? Like, and I know you probably can't tell, but it's like this big, right? And so when you think about it, in the first, at least what is it, the first 5 years that they say that you're becoming you, right? A lot of times what happens is you sucking in everything from your environment, whether that's how your mom reacts, how your dad reacts, their relationship, like all of that is formed in the first 5 years. And for you to have a good blueprint of that is good. It's fantastic, bro. Um, I don't know. I think a lot of people struggle in that area and they don't recognize what that looks like, or like they struggle and they recognize that like I did take in the wrong things early, but it seems like, from what you said, that I've taken a lot of good things during that time period, right? And I'm gonna get out of the way. So yeah, just wanted to say that. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, bro. Again, that's dope. I think for sure I've always wanted a blueprint for my father as well. Unfortunately, I didn't get it. However, at one point in my life, it was literally like Josh said, taking in what I didn't get and making sure that I implement with my family, my wife, my kids. And the biggest, I think, example that I had was my grandfather. He was more like a father to me than anything because he was the one at the games yelling at the ref, and refs be his best friend. He cursing him out, telling, "Hey, you need to do this." Da, da, da. At everything, always encouraging, always pushing us to be better, to learn something different. Um, and that started like when we was young. Like we used to be in the backyard, me and my cousin, because we grew up like brothers, twins. People used to think we were twins, and we be in the backyard with my grandfather playing horse, playing ball. And when we start getting good, and he started beating us, he went to his left hand and he used to kick our butt. And I'm sore loser, but I used to get mad, cry, leave, come back. No, I'm done. I'm tired of playing. Da, da, da. But the lesson of not only learning how to use your left hand, but understanding that life is gonna throw you curveballs. You gotta be able to switch up. You gotta be able to use all your tools and not just one. Don't just have this one sitting here and you can't use it. you know. So taking that and realizing that I can apply that to real life situations, not just with, you know, life, but in fatherhood. You know, I got two daughters. What works for this daughter don't work with this daughter. You know, this one may be a little bit more emotional. This one don't care about nothing. So I can talk to her a little bit more reckless and she'll get it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I think that between just kind of watching him and how he was with my mom, my aunts, um, how super protective he was. It's like I gained that portion of it where I'm now really seeing how I'm like that, but also giving them the room to grow a little bit, you know, because the one thing I think we do, just in parents in general, is sometimes we can love too hard and we don't want them to try nothing, or we don't want them to fail and want them to do nothing. And it's like, nah, they gotta have that balance. Because say if mom is the one that kind of spoil them a little bit and help them out a little more, I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna watch you or make you figure it out. I'm gonna encourage you to figure it out. I'm not gonna sit here and just as soon as you mess up, oh, I don't get it. Try it again. You know, well, it's not working. Think of another way to do it. Because those are cognitive skills that you got to learn on your own. You know, I can't always just fix it, because you'll never learn. Um, so again, man, I was definitely raised. My mom was, she worked, she worked her butt off, and I was the only kid for 17 years. So again, like she was working, and I spent a lot of time with my aunt and my cousin growing up. But I feel like my work ethic definitely came from her, because I definitely put my head down, and whatever I want to do, I'm gonna go do it. I'm not gonna ask for permission. I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna figure it out. And I think that I've also been a somebody who just picks up things from his environment. So we always like my favorite artist, J. Cole. He talk about Uncle Phil all the time. You take those TV fathers, you know, even talking about Bill Cosby, you know, Family Matters, Carl Winslow. Like I took those things that they were doing and I implemented into how I'm being a father, how I want to see my family, how I want to be better. And these are things that I'm capturing. Again, we know this stuff came out early 90s. So I'm 5, 6, or 7 years old, internally taking this stuff and saying, okay, when I get to be this age, when I get my family, this is how I'm gonna do my stuff. And so um as I got older, you know, just looking at relationships, like one of the most important things I feel is auntie and uncle relationships. Like they are damn near just important as, you know, your parents, because they'll be honest with you up front. Sometimes they'll let you get away with stuff, but they'll keep it real with you 100. So I look at some of the stuff my uncle did, took that. If I had some cousins or something like that, watch what they father did, took that. My boy, his dad, and how they were. It's like, yeah, they ain't really cool, but some of the other stuff, yeah, I'm gonna take that too. And you just kind of build your own toolbox. I think on Rick Ross album, they had a quote in there was saying that you can take other people's life experiences and accomplishments and make them your own to build what you building. And when I heard that, I just took that and it was like, this is how my blueprint is. So now when my kids come along, they know that, okay, well, like you said, Jason, dad was at all the appointments. He recorded y'all coming out. He's here when you fall. He's here when you doing great. And he's here to push that love into you, knowing that you are great and you're beautiful and you don't need nobody else to tell you because your daddy told you first. So, so the biggest thing that I say, man, um, my life experiences and my environment shape the type of father that I am today. And I'm still learning and I'm still growing and I'm going to make mistakes and that's okay. But I know I'm not failing because I'm still trying. I'm still attempting. I'm still going forward. So
That's good. That's good.
Hey man, you preaching, bro. And I receive that, man. Hey, we can also create our own blueprints, and I love that. You know what I
yes,
mean?
sir.
Um, First things first, rest in peace, Uncle Phil.
Up
Nah,
Phil. Exactly.
for
Exactly.
real, because you the only.
The only
Hey
father
man,
that I ever knew.
hey man,
I get my I'm gonna be a better you.
hey listen. I speak fluent hip hop, so I caught that. Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
We got to bring that
yeah,
up on the episode later. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
Well, cool, cool. And I want to push this forward. I want to talk about this because I think that this topic in particular is super, super valid and super, super important. And I don't know if I've ever heard anybody talk about this, but a lot of fathers, what I'm saying, they talk about feeling emotionally invisible after the baby comes. Did y'all experience that? And if you did you feel like you could say something about it?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to see how that question is coming to me as as I'm saying it over and over in my head. I don't think that I felt emotionally invisible from like my partner, my wife. I think she did a really good job. I think because she understands that a lot of times the mothers get the attention and the baby get the attention. She went like out of her way to kind of check in and make sure that I was good, that I got space, that I, had what I needed. I think it wasn't being emotionally invisible for me. I think I just do what black men tend to do anyway, and kind of just like not share what was going on in me. You know what I mean? So like I would have different feelings or be going through different emotions or like I could be dog tired. Like hey, I ain't slept in 24 hours. But instead of just saying that, like, hey, I just need to catch, I need to sleep or I need a break. Like if she wanted to get a baby up, I would just take the baby and just pray that the baby went to sleep. I'd be mad. I'm in the basement by myself, so she can get because if she can hear the baby, she's up. So I go to the man cave, I close the door, and I'm literally on my knees, like praying, like, God, please let this baby go to sleep so I can go to sleep. But really, all it took was for me to say something. So I kind of made myself invisible, if that makes sense. Like I made my emotions invisible so that I don't know, I felt like I didn't want to be a burden. I felt like if we had to rank the order of importance, baby girl and wifey up here, and then it's me. Um, and I think that's something that, black men struggle with in relationships and parenthood, anything. Like we always kind of, we take on this duty I think we should, but I think, it's room for us to be honest about how we are, how we feeling. Because even if you do got to go through it, you ain't necessarily got to go through it quietly. You know what I mean? It's not gonna make you any less of a man. It's like it wouldn't have made me any less capable to take her in that moment. Um, but what it would have prevented is me like blowing up in moments where ain't nobody did nothing wrong. It's just I'm tired. I ain't got no. I didn't really get a lot of sleep. Um, maybe I'm a little stressed. I had a hard day at work and came home, took the baby, and maybe I could have talked to her and she could have took the baby, and then I could have took the night shift. Like it was just that.
Yeah, I definitely can identify with that, bro. Because again, like you said, we don't have nobody to talk to about it because we ain't supposed to talk about it. We're not supposed to, right? We ain't supposed to be human. We ain't supposed to have feelings. We ain't supposed to be tired. But in reality, we human just like everybody else, and it's not true. I definitely went through that because again, what having daughter for one, not even knowing that space of how to, how as simple as how to change the diaper properly, and them blowouts be blowouts, brother. Like, it's kind of
Bruh,
hard to navigate. You trying to change you be like, man, well, you missed a spot or you got to do this. It's almost like you learning to walk again, right? So, between that and then us trying to get back to our space where we have intimate moments, if it's just us sitting down talking, we watching a movie together, we actually get a chance to go out and sit down and have a meal together, like all the things of just being intimate with us because the baby's like you said, baby priority, then his wifey, then it's you, you know, and I think it's sometimes I try to kind of bulldoze my feelings, like, dang, like I want this or I want attention or I want that, but not knowing she tired, she stressed, the baby going, she crying, she up, she this, she that, and I think learning again, I'm the first one on my friend groups that's married, right? So not even having my people or my guys to talk to about this, how we communicate. One of the things I'm huge on saying is that when black people don't say nothing, we don't talk about anything. So when it comes to marriage, we don't talk about what communication looks like. We don't talk about what the sacrifice looks like. We don't talk about, sometimes she giving 80, you giving 20, or the other days you giving 100 and she ain't got nothing and you taking the load. We don't talk about those things. And so then you throw a child into the mix, it's really off balance sometimes. But we sit back and we, like you said, become a shell of ourselves because we're trying to make sure everybody else good. And it comes out everything you said. You going off here, you had a bad day at work, so you frustrated. You may curse somebody out or flick somebody off. You got road rage, like all the things. And so, it just uh, took for us to almost like a year for us to really have a true honest conversation. It was like, hey, I get that, we got this, and this. We got the baby. You trying to navigate your space and how you feel. Her hormones, as they had a baby, they all over the place. That's hard for us to understand because we kind of the same way all the time, right? And then um again, you got other factors and all this other stuff, but it's like, look, let's figure out how we can make this work. If she go to sleep early, let's sit down and have a conversation, or let's watch a movie together or something like that. So um but that's also again something I had to navigate through myself in my head to be like, all right, like, how can I make this better? Going into that fix it mode. Like, I gotta fix this, I gotta make sure everything good, I gotta regulate the temperature. And then again, even times where, sometimes I feel like I wasn't wrong, be like, you know what? I'll take the blame for it. I apologize, I understand you went through a lot, but I want us to get back to us. Or I want us to find our new us, our new normal with now having a child. And so again, once we had the second one, man, it was so much smoother because we already knew what we went through before. I set the expectations up front. If she had things that she wanted to try and implement, cool, let's do that. Let's work together. Let's build. And ever since then, it's been going back and forth, and we've been rocking. But yeah, man, you definitely feel kind of invisible sometimes when that baby comes because everybody, you don't matter no more. It's the mom and the baby.
Thank y'all for sharing that. Like, again, as a person who does not have a child, I'm learning a lot here, and just about, you know, I had no idea that, right, society. Well, I guess I kind of did know that fathers do get kind of like, they kind of are invisible, but I think the fact that, Jason, you brought it up, that we are also, and we make ourselves invisible to ourselves, is one thing that I didn't think about when I originally posted this question. I think that we do it to ourselves, um, because to me that's a different that's different, right? And and I think it is like, which needs are the greatest, right? Like you said, like, and Mike, you mentioned it too, like the, when it comes to kid, wife, everybody else is like, we got to make sure they good. And the reality is that we do alienate ourselves like that. I totally see that, because like a lot of times, like when I think about my wife, if she ain't good, then I'm not good, right? So like, added that with an extra person in between that, I could definitely see that being like definitely a bigger barrier too. Like, yeah, that's a different level of like emotionally emotionally lonely, right? Like, that's a different level of that. Yeah. So yeah, so the next question I have for y'all though is, and this is gonna be actually be the last question. So what kind of support do black fathers actually need but don't always get?
Unmute, Jay.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't pretend like I know the spaces or all the things that are happening. You know what I mean? So I don't know what black fathers aren't getting. Um, I know we need stuff like this. We need conversations, whether it's a podcast, whether it's our favorite artists. Like, I'm glad that we can go back and listen to some of these artists, Jay-Z, J. Cole, talking about, their experiences. Because although we might not be able to sit down and have conversations like this, we can listen to music and hear other people's perspectives. Um, but even like forums. I got a homie in St. Louis. Actually, it's my cousin's like best friend. Um, I think it's called Dad. No, what is it called? Oh man, I forgot it that fast. I'll find it and I'll send it to y'all. But it's like a support group of like fathers coming together. I think it's called Dads to Doulas. Um,
I just got introduced. Somebody
yeah,
just told me about this last week. Yeah,
yeah.
we'll be connected with them soon.
Yeah, one of the guys that is spearheading and pushing it, his name is Brad, happens to be my cousin, one of his best friends. So I found out about it through my cousin. And I only actually made one meeting. I ain't gonna lie to you. It was a beautiful meeting. It was like 30, 40 guys on the call. And apparently they do this all the time. I think I got kind of overwhelmed with just work and life and everything, and I kind of separated myself from everything that wasn't inside my home, to be honest, for during that time. Um, but I would love to get back connected with them, man. I think we need spaces where we can just show up with take mask off, no fronting, no faking, none of that, just being real and being able to be open and vulnerable. Because also, it doesn't really make a difference if you show up somewhere but you not, yourself. We know what you are both being therapists. It's like you got that client in your chair and what's going on, and they just everything cool. Well, if they say everything is cool for 45 minutes, y'all not gonna get nowhere, right? So it actually takes that level of vulnerability, but it also takes the person to feel safe to be vulnerable. So I think we need those spaces.
Absolutely, brother. And this is why this question exactly why the 1432 podcast is this the 1432 men's group that we just started exists because we need these spaces and these outlets to have this dialogue. Um, just from us talking today, I've learned so much about your experience and your mindset and your blueprint of being a father, right? I'm pretty sure Josh has picked up something from the both of us, as he said, and I'm sure that you done picked up something from the conversation as well. And the only way that we can be better as one, as fathers, but for ourselves, better husbands, uncles, cousins, whatever you are, is by having a conversation and having a dialogue about it. Sharing that story of, I unintentionally isolated myself when my child got here, because nobody told me that my feelings mattered still. I'm just so focused on how my wife feeling, how my daughter feeling. They good, cool. I'm exhausted, but they good. It's like, yeah, but you can't be nothing for them if you're not taking care of yourself. And so, we Josh and I have definitely seen the need for that. I think I've been low key saying this out loud for years because again, I started, my friend group being married first. I wasn't the first one to have a kid, but I was married first. And that within itself is stuff we don't talk about. Josh said it on the last pod we had about when we talk about friendships, like when you get married, you want to talk about how when you get engaged, your friendship change. At the wedding, your friendship change. After the wedding, your friendships change, and people start moving different and acting different because there's no rules to none of this, right? But the one thing that we do realize is that we got free will to do whatever we want to do, and we can kind of make up the rules as we go. You know, and so um, any organization that's out there that supports Black men, that encourages Black men to come together, that has dialogue on marriage, being fathers, like it's welcome, it's supported, it's needed and necessary. And we're gonna continue to do it, man. Black men need a place to share their voice in whatever aspect it is. I think the biggest thing that we don't talk about is our hobbies. Like you said, you're a hip hop head, cool. Josh is a sneaker head. I'm like, I just like a little bit of everything. I can have a conversation about a little bit of everything. But my boy Jay, he cornhole. I don't know no black man play cornhole, but I got introduced to Jay. See, there you go. and he got a podcast talking about playing cornhole and bringing people together, not just black people, but white people, Asian, all different races of people. And so when we create spaces for our voices get to be heard, man, we're actually doing a lot of self healing, and we're creating an environment for other brothers to come in and share their stories and express themselves as well. So again, man, this is why 1432 in all of its facets exists.
Yeah, and well, that's what's crazy. I was actually gonna go on the reflections next, but it seems like Mike has well reflected, and I appreciate the fact that because yeah, you're right. This is the reason why this stuff exists. Dad's to doulas exist. 1432 the podcast exists. On hold with smooth uh exists, right? Like these spaces are needed and necessary. And I just, again, I just want to say thank y'all to y'all brothers for coming in and, talking about y'all experience as fatherhood, as fathers, right? Involved fathers anyway. I think that's always super important. Before I continue giving my reflection, Jay, what do you have as like a reflection for this? I know we've been on for what, an hour and a half. What is your reflection? What are some takeaways that you have or things that you want to add or anything like that to your life from this podcast?
I get, yeah, reflecting one again, just reflecting on how grateful I am just to even be a father. You know what I mean? I'm really excited to be able to be a part of this podcast, but the only reason why this episode in particular makes sense for me is because I was recently made a father. You know what I mean? So first off, shout out to my baby girl. You know what I mean? I think this experience has taught me so much about myself. I'm so glad that I waited to have my child at the time that I did. You know what I mean? Like I was 35 when she got here, no, 34, and had a lot of time to make a lot of decisions and good, bad, made some mistakes, celebrated some wins. Um, got a little life experience in before she got here. So I'm really glad that my life that I did make some decisions in which she got here when she got here. Just reflecting back, man, I'm just thinking about how important it is just for us to be who we are in these spaces. And even our past experiences, whether good or bad or both, how they make up who we are. You know what I mean? And then someday our children are going to grow up and have lives and have families and have things, and they'll be able to look back and maybe be on a podcast talking about their experience and talking about all the things that we did 30 years ago that we didn't even realize the impact. But us just being present, showing up, regardless if we make mistakes, regardless if we got all the answers, our, desire to find answers that we don't have, like all of that stuff matters. Um, yeah, man, it's just encouraging. You know what I mean? Even just being able to talk to hear Mike's side in your story, man, and the fact that you two kids in, and like I said, my baby is 8 months, bro, and like I'm still very much new, still learning, still building my circles and finding my spaces or whatever, man. And I just appreciate getting game. So you know what I mean. Hopefully, Bailey can be on the positive receiving side of some of this advice you've been giving out, man. Um, yeah, man, and shout out to you too, Josh, man. I just appreciate you for even reaching out, asking me to be a part of it. You know what I mean. And when your time comes, you got two brothers at least right here. They got you, man.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I think y'all again. I think y'all because, like I said, like you guys are good blueprints that I can watch. Um, just me watching both of y'all. Mike, with you, with Malia and and Michaela, just watching you patiently work through um what it means to have a 3-year old and a 8-year old, right? Like just being able to watch you do that is been amazing. And I think Jason, watching you with Bailey, um, it just it to me, I'm just soaking this all in, and it reminds me of when I first started off going, hanging out with Kern and things of that nature, everybody be like, Josh just hang out, he just kick it, da da da. And I'm like, well, I'm soaking everything in. Like I'm soaking in all the leadership qualities that people don't know. Cause I was the youngest. So for me, I'm soaking in all the experiences that people are having. I'm soaking in all the nuggets that people are, what I'm saying, um, imploring in me, right? Like, from Jamal and Jason to P Mike to um to Ant, to, all the people that hung out with us during current, I was soaking all that in. And right now I'm doing the same thing with you and Jason, right? So, again, I appreciate y'all brothers. And the one thing that my reflection from this is that, um, fatherhood, being an active father is probably the most important thing, even from the very beginning, even, from the beginning of pregnancy, when you find out your wife is pregnant, being super, super involved is super, super protective, follow, filling in that husband role while filling in the, protective mode, um, is super important because it continues after that, right? Because one of the things that or one of the philosophers that I believe in, like, is Eric Erickson, his psychosocial stages of development, right? And one of the things, the last stage of psychosocial development talks about integrity versus despair, right? And this when you're old, when you're an older an adult, right? So like it says, older adult reflects on life. Satisfaction with life leads to integrity and wisdom. Regrets lead to unmet goals. Regrets and unmet goals lead to bitterness and despair. And so for me, I think about that with children, right? Um, because to me, and I don't have children, but from what I've seen, working with parents and things of that nature, the the tool that you did right with your kids is that they come hang out with you when they don't have to. Um, right. So when they 21, are they pulling up to your house being annoying kids? Like, are they coming to kick it with you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when they outside of the house, or like, for instance, would they rather be with you when they don't have to be? Would they rather be like, okay, well, I'm sitting in, my dad's sitting in the basement in his man cave. I'm gonna go sit on his lap and kick it with him, right? Like, does that stuff show up? And I think that that's one of the things that's one of my life goals. Like when I have kids, I want to make sure that I have that level of like, yeah, I'm going with my daddy. I'm going with my daddy. I don't know where he at, but I'm going with him, right? Or daddy, where you going? I'm coming with you. All right, hop in the car. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so I think from this conversation alone, seeing how active you are with you guys are with with your kids has shown me that that's the level I need to be at, right? And I think the other part of this is, just making sure also that I'm taking care of myself in the midst and not neglecting myself. Um, because because since we are, as I mentioned before, we are the thermostat, right? We are the temperature setters in our families' lives. I think I have to make sure, as a person who is not father, I have to make sure that any room I come in with my future kids and my wife, I make sure that I am ready. I'm cool. I'm setting the temperature as much as possible. Taking care of me as much as possible, and then also make sure I go to therapy. Um, So yeah, nah. Again, like I said, I appreciate y'all, brothers. I know this was and I think the other part of this is too. I think that this is like a topic that needs to be talked about. So, I think I'm glad we had this conversation. I really am. You know what I'm saying? Again, Jason, I thank you for pulling up. And you know what I'm saying, you didn't, you could have been doing anything else, but you here. So I definitely appreciate you. And I feel like this conversation, as Mike always says, is needed and necessary. So
Yeah, Jason, appreciate it, brother. Like this was definitely this was great in real time, great. Um and I kind of knew this was gonna go a lot longer than what we had said, but that's when you get the best content.
Yeah, yeah.
That's when you get the best messages to come through. So man, again, appreciate you and shout out to you. Shout out to LaCuz over there. Shout out to baby
Hey,
girl. Shout out to y'all, man. And again, bro, anytime you got questions and anything you just want to vent, whatever, I'm definitely here. I'm open for it. And again, my thing is just sharing my experience with you. And we creating a community with the three of us that obviously is going to expand, but anytime we either one of us got questions, hey, let's hit each other up and let's talk it through.
let's do it, man. That's we got to be the change we want to see, right?
Yes, sir.
absolutely,
Yes,
absolutely.
sir.
All right, well, Mike, you want to close it out then?
Yes, sir. It's been a great episode with our brother Jason, the 1432 podcast, talking about Black male fatherhood. Great conversations, insightful things that we're gonna learn and take in our respective homes, and spread the word to our brothers that we know that got fathers or that are fathers and are married and taking care of their families, man. So we wrapping up, and again, Jason, we appreciate you, we love you. Shout out to your family, and all blessings to y'all, and shout out to my brother Josh for hosting this and coordinating, being the facilitator, and helping us get through this so we can share our gems, man. So until next time, peace.
Peace.